Enrica Pinetti, a canny Italian investor behind the opaque and backroom deals, is a conduit of a new systemic form of graft known as state capture, critics have postulated. Under this veil of secrecy, powerful individuals who have unfettered ties to the inner sanctum are granted juicy deals through informal structures that circumvent officialdom.
We have had this situation where a lot of the important activities and actions take place behind the scenes. And so it's not surprising that a very important development like an agreement involving a key sector for the economy, that's the coffee sector, is concluded in the most opaque and controversial circumstances. We know that for a long time, very important procurement deals in this country have been concluded through brokerage in the corridors of State House with all sorts of brokers and actors who are lined up to, make their cut. So this controversy is not by any means, in any case, different and is not surprising at all.
In traditional nomenclature, we talk about the deep state. The deep state is what makes a country survive and thrive. It protects national sovereignty and national security and national economic security. But in a normal sense, the deep state is your military, is your public service, is your intelligence service. And what that means is that those institutions of state, they work to protect the state. When you have dysfunctional systems, what you call as the shadow state protects the interests of the individual. So in other words, you'll find that the entire intelligence services is organized around how to protect the president and make sure the president is in power. The entire military is organized around how to protect a single person. So you look at states like Equatorial Guinea.
Pinetti rose to the spotlight after she was granted 2 deals, placing Uganda's coffee sector, which is the pulse of the economy, in her firm grip through a monopoly, and to build a specialized hospital at Lubowa along Entebbe Road. According to the details of the coffee deal, government doled out exclusive rights to Uganda Vinci Coffee Company Limited to purchase Uganda's coffee beans for a decade. During this period, the government will support non-precedent concessions that in essence mean the investor will not be eligible to pay any form of tax. The firm, according to the deal, will enjoy exemption in regard to import duties, value-added tax, excise duty, stamp duty, corporate income tax, and employment-related taxes, as well as any other tax or imposition levied or charged under the laws or any other laws that may be enacted. The firm was also awarded a 49-year lease for a huge chunk of land in Namamve Investment Park.
That you have a transaction like this coffee deal, and the Attorney General is saying, oh, I approved this. The Solicitor General said, I don't know anything. The Minister for Agriculture is saying, I don't know. And yet, the Minister of Finance is signing on an agreement that says, we will guarantee supply of raw material. But the supply of raw material is supposed to be done by Minister of Agriculture, because these are the ones who look after the agriculture sector. So you are talking about the dismembering of state institutions, the perpetuation of discord. The lack of coordination of state institutions benefits the mafia, benefits the shadow state. If you have an organized state where institutions are accountable to each other, the mafias do not have a way of surviving.
It's emblematic of the nature of the state we have in place, which one is bureaucratically weak, and therefore the existing processes and systems are sidelined and placed behind personal interests. And so the state system itself is bureaucratically weak. Otherwise, then we would not be having individual actors driving important outcomes. But the second thing is really the broader politics of regime survival in Uganda, where the private interests are important for the sustenance and survival of the existing political system and political regime. And so those individuals who are doing deals at the behest of important and powerful godfathers in the higher places. You can trace many of these scandals that have happened, some of which you mentioned, back to powerful individuals around the presidency.
When MPs recently visited Lubowa, they expected to find brick and mortar squatting on this hospital site. But there was barely any evidence to prove that 348 billion shillings had been spent on this project.
Looking at the work on the ground, they have moved nowhere. We have so far spent over 37.75% of this contract sum. But what is on the ground is basically minuscule. We found out that the constructor is not there. The consultant is not there, the constructor is not there. They are using basically what they are calling in-house support system.
The Finance Minister Matia Kasaija early this week appeared before a House committee seeking another vote of 319 billion shillings for the project, which was rejected. On March 12, 2019, Parliament approved funding for the specialized hospital through promissory notes worth 1.3 trillion shillings. A promissory note is a debt instrument that contains a written promise by one party to pay another party a definite sum of money either on demand or at a specified future date. However, before the approval, there were strident voices against this deal.
Order. Honour members, I put the question that the minority report be rejected. Those in favor say aye, the contrary no. No service. The majority report is approved.
Busongora North MP William Nzogu, Ayivu County MP Bernard Atiku, and Mukono Municipality MP Betty Namboze tabled a minority report over the legality and economic viability of the loan request.
It has just been a mob that descended on the Parliament and silenced all voices of reason and passed a motion that is going to make Ugandans 1.4 trillion shillings poorer. The fact of the matter is that finance local company doesn't deal in hospitals.
Before the vote in the plenary, Dokolo Woman MP Cecilia Ogwa raised a procedural matter.
Right, Honourable Speaker, on the 12th of February this year, this matter was brought to this Parliament as a paper being laid before Parliament. Today,
arguing that the President had earlier on 23rd April 2014 authored a letter which revealed that the foreign investor would not be given any financial government guarantee for the construction of the Lubowa hospital.
we have the power to rescind the decision of the President, which is before us, and it was laid on table. And I would like to raise many other things. I think this is a smuggled document, and right, Honourable Speaker, you know that the Women's Hospital has been built recently at 450 beds at only 25 million. This one, $25 million. This one is going to be 200 and something beds at $390 million. Are we talking with sanity in our heads? There is something definitely wrong. Somebody has smuggled something dangerous in this Parliament, and they want to involve Parliament to approve what is illegal.
However, then Speaker of Parliament Rebecca Kadaga, who is currently First Deputy Prime Minister, implored the MPs to approve the deal after reading another letter from the President where he had a change of mind. Museveni defended the record of the Italian investor who he argued would midwife the construction of a world-class hospital offering specialized treatment, including bone marrow transplants.
Most doctors leave the country because there are no specialized hospitals where they can practice their specialties. Since the hospital will be here and accessible, they'll be able to work and Ugandans will benefit from them. I therefore wish to confirm my unquestionable support for the International Specialized Hospital of Uganda and request Parliament to expedite its consideration of the project and accordingly approve its financing arrangements if they align with the law. President Yoweri Museveni. Honour members, I'm going to put the question, we are going to take a vote. Honour members, I put the question be put. Those in favour say aye, the contrary no.
But commentators say the Lubowa Hospital and coffee deals mirror other shady transactions at the behest of a shadow state. Some of these deals that sullied government's reputation include the sale of UCB to a shadowy Malaysian bank for a song, the sale of Dairy Corporation for $1, the sale and asset stripping of Uganda Airlines, and the sale of Uganda Railway Corporation, amongst others. Parallels have also been drawn between Pinetti and another powerful lobbyist, Rosa Whittaker, who was the former U.S. government executive and architect of the African Growth and Opportunity Act, AGOA. In 2003, her consulting firm received $300,000 from the Ugandan government as trade experts. Whittaker enjoyed close ties with the presidency, and through her leverage and clout, she was able to influence the award of two lucrative deals, the Standard Gauge Railway and Karuma Dam. For instance, during the fight for the railway, the president sided with Whittaker, whom he described as incorruptible, unlike other government officials, as three Chinese firms engaged in tough battles, each represented by powerful lobbyists. And I quote, "Some time ago, our black American compatriot, Miss Rosa Whittaker, formerly U.S. Trade Representative for Africa, brought us a Chinese group known as China Harbour Engineering Company that wanted to help source Chinese government soft loans to build the railways in Uganda, as well as a port on Lake Victoria," Museveni wrote. The president further told his minister, Miss Rosa Whittaker had assured these Chinese that in Uganda there's no need for bribing officials, which apparently is a common practice in many parts of Africa. The contract fight involved three rival Chinese government firms, including China Civil Engineering Construction Corporation, Chinese Communication and Construction Company, and Chinese Harbour Engineering Company Limited. Senior government officials, including Works Minister then Abraham Byandala and his junior Stephen Chebrot, signed separate agreements, each giving the rival firms a due advantage over the other. Museveni revealed further that crafty middlemen had infiltrated his meetings, stolen minutes, and passed them on to a Chinese firm. And I quote, "These actions by these officials are damaging Uganda's interest in three ways. Damaging Uganda by portraying it as a bribe-taking country, diverting the Chinese money that would have supported the engineering brigade of UPDF to bribing corrupt officials of the Uganda government, and deterring future investors from making confidential proposals to us because they are sold to business rivals by our corrupt officials," close quotes, he wrote. Graft continues to seep through the hallowed corridors of power. Yet the antidote may not necessarily lie in procuring the services of foreigners who do not have squeaky clean profiles.